Morning all, Friday morning again, another week flown by. Catch up with a few of the bikes that we've got in progress this week. The VN2000, this has had a major overhaul front to back. One thing we found while we were doing it, the steering head bearings were clunking a little bit. Not noticeable on the bench so much, to be honest, but when you were riding the bike and going over bumps and lumps, you could feel it. So the bearings inside here, just a little bit of wear and tear on them. They had some grooves in them. But to change those, obviously the whole front end of the bike has to come out, which on a bike as big and as heavy as this is a little bit of a chore, but we got it done. The rest of it was just a good service, thorough check, all the fluids changed, a few other bits and pieces, minor adjustments, and all done. So I think that's due out middle of next week. The customer's going to come and get it. This VFR 750, it came in for servicing work and a few jobs that had been picked up at previous MOTs, so it had been noted that it was blowing on its exhaust and it was getting worse, so the customer asked if we could do something about it. Now, I'll try and just get a light under here to show you what the problem was. Under here, originally on the VFR exhaust, you've just got a couple of joining clamps, and because they're in all this muck, you've got the tyre here, so there's spray and road muck getting blasted onto those clamps all the time. They just rot out like crazy. And they were so crusty that if you touched them and scraped them, you just had metal flaking and dropping off. They're just completely corroded and disintegrated. So we had two options, two or three really. The costly options, buy a new exhaust system. You can't buy the original system from Honda anymore. I don't think you'll get a good second-hand one because they all had this issue. So a replacement exhaust system, £500 plus fitting maybe. A replacement original Honda exhaust system, maybe hen's teeth, maybe find one, maybe not. Probably have the same problems. So we came across with this solution. We cut off the original joining clamps completely at the back. John refreshed the metal and we got some stainless steel tubing. We cut it to length. We put some new graphite bushes inside, slitted the ends, put some joining clamps on, and these, we've essentially recreated the original joints and clamps in a way that you can still take the exhaust off. Cost-effective way of doing it, and as good as original. It's certainly strong enough. The clamps, you can just see the bolt head sticking out the bottom of the fairing there, but when the bike's down on the floor you can't. They're just a little bit more obvious because the bike's up in the air. When it's down you wouldn't even know we've done it. So this is going in for an MOT this week. Let's get my torch turned off. Forever leaving that on and flattening the battery. GPZ 750, this has been into us before. Came in a few years ago. It had the low oil pressure and we found a massive wad of blue roll stuck to the bottom of the sump. Ever since then, its owner's been out and riding it and enjoying it, and every now and again, when a few bits and pieces wear out or he gets a bit of wear and tear, he sends it back to us to sort a few jobs out. So he noticed it was maybe running a bit weak at tick over. We thought it might be these inlet stubs, so he's bought and sent these with the bike for us to fit. New inlet clamps, new inlet stubs. They are a common issue on these old GPZs. Swinging arm, he's sent us a new swinging arm to fit. There's some play in the bushes and a bit of I think a bit of corrosion that he wants us to replace. The right rear brake lever, had a lot of flop about on it. He sent us a new pivot pin. John's this one down here, but the actual wear is in the footrest hanger. I think it's that part. John was working on this when I left yesterday. I leave at 4, John finishes at 5, so he's got an hour beavering away. He's not in on a Friday, so it'll be Monday before I catch up with him and find out what he's done to it. I'm assuming we'll need a new bush, probably. This BMW, this is an interesting one. The owner's not ridden it for many years, but he keeps starting it in his garage just to keep it going. One time he came out and it wouldn't start, and then he had a massive backfire. He said it was a huge pop, and it blew a hose out, which I think he means was one of these. But he did get it started after that, once he put the hose back in. And then he tried a few months later to start it again, and this time it just wouldn't start at all. So he asked us if we'd take it in, and we assumed it was going to be a bit of fresh petrol, some new plugs in it, get it fired up, and it would be good. And it's a BMW after all. So we tried it, and it wouldn't start. The starter motor was really lazy. It was only sort of just flicking the engine over, really. So I tried the starter motor on the bench, and it was dead inside. So fitted new starter motor, got the engine spinning up to decent speed, still wouldn't start. Put a bit of petrol down the bores, checked it had a spark, got it to fire up, but it was really grouchy and crabby. It wouldn't respond to throttle. I thought maybe it just wanted a ride, so I booked it in for an MOT, took it to the MOT centre. It's only 2 miles away. But there and back, it still hadn't improved. Idle's almost non-existent. You've got to keep it revving and you've got to push it through. So I thought, right, change air filter. See if when it backfired, maybe it burnt through the air filter or something, which they can do. So I opened the airbox up, took the air filter out, which was this, and the first thing I noticed was this really strong smell of electrical burning through. That's what I could see when I took the air filter out, that little grill there, and through that grill it stank. So we need the airbox out to check. In the airbox you've got this little electric motor here and a throttle position sensor here. I thought I might actually find just some melted wiring, or maybe this had visible signs of problem, but there's nothing there, but it absolutely reeks of burning plastic. So this needs replacing. To get this out of the bike, you have to basically break the bike in two. The airbox sits right in the middle of this cavity, this subframe, and this subframe is bolted here onto the engine. So you have to split the two apart. 2 hours work to get that off, and it'll be a lot more to get it back together. I've got an airbox coming. I found a second-hand one on eBay. The seller said was good and came off a good working bike, so I'm going to have to go with that. They're £1,000 off BMW just for the internals of the airbox. That's even if they can still supply it. So we'll get that fitted, probably, I reckon, about 3 hours to get it back together. It's always longer to put them carefully back together than it is just to dismantle them. That's a job for next week when the airbox turns up. So that's the 4 of these, really. The other bikes in the background we're slowly progressing through. But again, we're waiting for Oscar to come back, which is going to be the end of September, and then we can sort of reschedule and get on again. In the meantime, I've got a few little admin jobs to do today, a few little bench jobs to do, and that'll be the end of our week. So have a good weekend, everybody. It'll soon fly around to next Friday, and we'll see where we've got to then.